I think my bell is losing its magical power. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. Peace be with you. I invite you to offer everybody a sign of peace, either by just saying that or fist bump or shake your hands or whatever you like. You know, as as you know, I've been doing this integral of Christianity book, and it talks about how we go through different evolutionary stages of development, unfoldment, both as people, as a society, as a spiritual organization, and so forth. And how we, as we progress through these stages, then certain aspects of them that really work for you type thing, you kind of tend to keep. And that's the one from the Catholic Church that I always remembered. I like that peace be with you thing. And so there, you know, a lot of Unity places do meet and greet, and believe it or not, I've even gone through, you know, discussions about the meet and greet, because some people say, no, we shouldn't have it because and then I get the other people who say, it's the only hug I get all week. So, so it's like, you know, maybe we'll do a compromise, a little, you know, peace be with you thing. Anyway, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. We are very, very happy that you have joined us this morning, and we are also very happy to have those people who are online who have joined us this morning too. And I did get a message from one of my old congregants from back home, who's a Canadian, and she asked me if we were live streaming, and I don't know if she's on. I told her. So I wanted to say to the online people that there is a way, when you come online, I don't know that much about it, but I've been told from Rosemary, you can see that there are people there, but they don't know who they are. So if you can just say, hello, I'm so-and-so, I'm glad to be here, then we can identify who you are. Otherwise, we know somebody's there, but we don't know who it is. So maybe we can have a little, you know, exchange type thing with the chat on the YouTube. As you know, we come together on Sunday mornings to kind of just essentially recharge our spiritual batteries, because they can get quite drained during the week from all the activities that go on and getting pulled in all different kind of different Martha directions. And that Martha Mary lesson will come up again this week because Reverend Smith brought it up in the book. So it's a good time to remind us ourselves about that. So when we come together, then we do that so that we can kind of refocus our energy back into that, more of our divine side and less of our human side. We do plenty of our human side. We need a little bit work on the divine side. And with that, I also want to include that, you know, all the exchanges that are going on about all the things that are going on right now with the transition, I guess, we're kind of in. Yeah, I want to remind everybody to be friendly about that, and we're going to try to work everything out, and so be patient. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We have a unique approach to spirituality. It is one that is grounded on a very different point of view from Western thought, and that is the idea that we truly are one, that we truly are. It's not some woo-woo thing. It truly is, we all connected at the very core of our being. And yet at the same time, we are unique expressions of the oneness. So it's a wonderful paradox, and our job is to balance these two aspects of ourselves. And we come here to help us in that endeavor, because we all are trying to evolve. The book says the Spirit's call to evolve. The Spirit is always calling us to evolve, and we must heed that call. And all you got to do, it's real simple. Get out of the way. That's all. And Spirit will do it for you. So we offer also a lot of practical spiritual tools that help you in doing so. And as I've mentioned before, If you go to our website, there is a resource button up there that drop down and it says spiritual tools. And you can see we have 14 tools in our toolbox. And some are more geared to some certain people and some more geared to other people. So maybe you can just go through it and say, which one that really fits with me? And so all these ways. You also know that we are an interspiritual community, and we honor all paths to spirit. And we have no dogma or creed, but we do have 5 principles that guide our philosophy. And again, our fundamental belief is oneness, and our fundamental practice is being in the present moment. And that's the subject of today's talk. It's called being in the spirit zone. And I want to emphasize that, because I've kind of been doing that, and I'm going to keep pushing it about being in the zone. And remember, it has to do with when we make affirmations and when we sing songs. What do they keep saying? Like you mean it. Don't just say the words. Feel the words, be the words. And that's going to be the emphasis today of that, to be in that spirit zone. So I'd like to invite you now to join us in our mission statement. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and the teachings of Jesus. Once again, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown, a spiritual breath of fresh air. Our announcements.
Good morning. Good morning. I mean it. Good morning. Okay. And you can knock things around when you do it too. If you are here for the first time, we would like to extend a special welcome. If you are comfortable, please raise your hand or stand so that we can say hi. Oh, please stand if you'd like, or tell us your name. Okay. Welcome, Jennifer. Hi.
Byron's back, by the way. Yay, Byron!
Yay, Byron. So, and your name? Mike. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for being here. There are welcome packages on the welcome table in the foyer. Please take one, and it would be great if you'd take the time to complete the form inside and return it to us. We hope you feel welcome and choose to make Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown your spiritual home. And our announcements. Today is Birthday Sunday. Those with birthdays in October, would you like to stand or raise your hand or do a little dance? And to sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Dear October babies.
Happy birthday to you.
The prayer chaplains invite you to take part in a daily vigil of prayer with the intention of healing and harmony for USCG. We will hold this intention every morning from 8 to 8:15. Please join your positive energy with ours as we know together that only love prevails. Reminder, there is no LGM this week as Reverend Tommy is at a regional conference. After service, the October birthdays and everyone, please join us in the back for some birthday cake and pastries. As of this Sunday, all Bucket of Hope donations will be going to Helping Hands of Georgetown. Helping Hands of Georgetown has been serving the underserved and homeless population in Georgetown community since 2016. Aside from financial donations, they are always accepting food donations to the mobile food pantry and for the Sunday dinner that they provide. And they could use volunteers helping to prepare meals Monday through Thursday. This is in the parking lot across from the Georgetown Library. Please check out their website. It is provided at the bottom of our weekly newsletter for more details. The book club will meet on Tuesday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. in the conference room that's across from the farmer's market. Plan to stay for lunch afterwards across the street at the city market. We will be discussing the book Love Without End, and it is available on Amazon. The Fund and Fellowship Committee have the following upcoming events scheduled. The fourth Sunday lunch out will be at Camp Brightside on October 27th. And Dan will be having a concert here on December 8th with a potluck. I guess that means Dan is providing the potluck, which is very kind of him. At the same time. And we will have a cookie exchange on December 15th. We are still calling for volunteers. Please consider helping out during a Sunday service. And please be sure to check out our e-newsletter sent out every Friday morning. We post the Unity Daily Word on Facebook and Instagram every morning, as well as a daily prayer break at noon.
Okay, a couple of other announcements. We're almost there. A couple of other announcements. Michael and Linda Ray from Unity Church of the Hills in Austin, they host a monthly event, or they have been. It's a music event, and I know Shonda has been there before, and I
Tom.
think Tom has been there, and Dan has been there. Who else? Ken is also, okay. Everybody. So this month is the last one of the season, and Dan is going to be doing, it's a house concert, but it's over there somewhere, where is it? Near Avery Ranch. So it's a little bit of a drive. It's this Thursday, 6 to 9, and we just wanted to make that announcement for you. The last thing I want to announce is for 2 years now, we have, and this is odd because, you know, I grew up in the Hispanic culture, obviously, and we never celebrated the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And ever since I got here and the movie Coco, we kind of been doing that. And for 2 years now, we've done it, and everybody really enjoys it. And so the 27th of October, we don't have this room. So I'm going to try to get the library like we did last time, because it's a nice big room, and they're able to set up a nice big table. And so I'll let you know this week in the newsletter where we end up for that day. But we want to do the Dia de los Muertos. And for a couple of years, we've also talked about having a little social movie matinee, I guess a Saturday afternoon, and watch the movie Coco together. So can you give me just a rough hand? Who would be interested in watching a Saturday afternoon Coco together and just bring in some snacks? Okay, good. So let me try to get the room either, if I can, for the 19th or the 26th, because the 27th is the event. And I have one more announcement about that event. My daughter, our daughter, Marisa, as you know, is a music therapist and working on her doctoral in music therapy. And she's really undertaken this whole mestizo culture, the Hispanic thing, the healing, the shamans, all this stuff. And so she's having her second paper published in a national journal of music. I need an earplug so they can tell you. And anyway, it's going to be published about Dia de los Muertos and music and stuff. So she's going to be in town, and she's going to do the presentation for her. So that'll be really nice. So that's the last of my announcements for now. So let me work on this movie thing, and we'll get it together. So, we like to start with a little bit of laughter, and Dan the Man is our comedian for today.
So this story took place on the golf course, and it was Moses and Jesus and some old man with a beard out playing golf. And Moses swings, he shanks the ball, and it goes into a lake. He walks over there, he parts the water, walks out into the lake bed, hits the ball, and knocks it up onto the green. Jesus hits the ball, it veers off to the right and also lands in some water. Well, he just walks across the water, reaches down and gets the ball, puts it up on top of the water, hits it again, and it comes within a foot of the cup. And the old man with the beard gets up, he hits the ball, it goes wild, it hits, bounces off the top of the the country club, and then it drops onto the golf cart trail, and it rolls down a hill and into a pond and lands on a lily pad. And a frog jumps up on the lily pad, picks up the ball with its mouth, and then an eagle swoops down and picks up the frog and flies off over the green, and the frog drops the ball into the cup. So it's a hole in one. And Moses looks at Jesus and says, "I hate playing golf with your dad."
Let's rise and begin today's service celebration.
Like you mean it, right?
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the love 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 moving in me. I feel the joy. I feel the joy moving in me. 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 I feel the Spirit 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 moving in me.
Yeah.
Right, there's no way I'm picking it up like Donna Sue does. I'm sorry.
Let's just try to do this, because I want you to be on, people on, not here. Okay, good, there you go. I'll just hold it.
I got it. All right, this is supposed to be the time when we're turning our attention inward. So let's just allow all that joy to settle down into every cell of our body as I don't think Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, now that we have all the bugs out, let's just take a deep breath, and as I ring the crystal bowl, allow the vibrations to just move through the sanctuary, move through every cell of your body, uniting us in oneness as we begin our sacred service today. Today's daily word is joy. The affirmation, I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. The inspiration for today's daily word comes from 1 Chronicles 29, verse 22. And they ate and drank before the Lord on that day with great joy. Life's biggest moments, weddings, births, birthdays, graduations, celebrations of all kinds are cause for joy. But joy is also found in life's simpler moments, the day-to-day happenings that comprise daily living. Joy is in the sunrise, in morning prayer, in the familiar faces I love and look forward to seeing, in the satisfaction I get from my work and my retirement. It is in my favorite things and in the sweet surprises that come from trying something new and different. Joy is in the comfort I find in my favorite spiritual practices and in finding God anew as I deepen in spiritual insight. However it manifests, joy is part of me, a way to feel the peace and power of God in my heart and deep in my soul. Please read the affirmation with me twice with spirit. I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. I rejoice in life's simple pleasures.
And now I'll light the 3 candles that represent the law of divine order: mind, idea, and expression. And divine order is the spiritual law of hope, possibility, and empowerment. It tells us that there is no problem, no situation that can't be overcome, no condition that is beyond resolution. And that's because divine mind provides us an unlimited source of creative ideas that we can then express in ways that make positive change in our lives and in the world. And now please join me in our prayer of intention. Living Spirit opens our minds, opens our hearts, touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents of love, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. All right, no children today, so let's sing another song.
Well, if you wanna be free, you gotta be like a child. If you wanna be free, you gotta be like a child. If you wanna be free, you gotta be like the little children. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta tear down the walls. If you wanna be free, you've gotta tear down the walls. Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta make those walls come tumbling. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta look for the truth. If you wanna be free, you've gotta look for the truth. If you wanna be free, you gotta stand in the light of glory. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
You've got to be like a little children, make those walls come tumbling, stand in the light of glory. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta drink from the well. If you wanna be free, you gotta drink from the well. If you wanna be free, you gotta drink that healing water. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta learn to forgive. Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta learn to forgive. And if you wanna be free, you've gotta learn to show forgiveness. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you gotta trust in your love. If you wanna be free, you've gotta trust in your love. If you wanna be free, you gotta trust in a loving power. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
You've got to be like the little children, make those walls come tumbling, stand in the light of glory, drink that healing water, learn to show forgiveness, trust in a loving power. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Well, if you wanna be free, you've gotta take time to pray. If you wanna be free, you've gotta take time to pray. If you wanna be free, you've gotta pray in the Holy Spirit. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
You've got to be like the little children, make those walls come tumbling, stand in the light of glory, drink that healing water, learn to show forgiveness, trust in the loving power, pray in the Holy Spirit. That's how you get to heaven's door. That's how you get to heaven's door.
Can I get a hallelujah? Now, please join me in affirming together our statement of being and our vision statement. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance. And now we have another song.
I am a gift, no matter what age, no matter how I look, there's beauty in each stage. I am a gift, and I promise every day, when I look in the mirror, I'll say, I am a gift. I am a gift I've loved really well, and every year I've lived has a different tale to tell. I've made mistakes, have some regrets, but I promise I'll never forget. I am a gift. There may be times when I forget the truth about me. But it seems that time and youth are just marching on without me. That's when I might need you to find me and ever so gently remind me that I am a gift, a precious child put here on this earth, but only for a while. So I make this vow, and I say it with love. I am perfect and whole and enough. I am a gift. I am a gift. I am a gift.
I think that song has put us in the perfect consciousness for our community prayer today. Thank you. Our community prayer today, which I'd like to focus on gratitude for our spiritual community, for our spiritual home, Unity of Georgetown. So let's take this time to truly appreciate the gift of being part of this community, this place that is so much more than a place. It's the people, the friends, the spiritual companions who support one another on our path, who gather to learn and grow together, to put the principles that we believe into practice in our daily life. It's the person sitting next to you in the sanctuary who intuitively reaches out to take your hand when they feel you struggling. It's the person like Elizabeth whose hugs make you feel loved in every cell of your body. It's the friend who gives you a message or an affirmation that becomes a permanent part of your spiritual toolbox and that uplifts you again and again. As part of our chaplain's daily prayer vigil, I've been listening to the opening minutes of our weekly YouTube recording, and I hear all your voices blending together in the background as everyone begins to gather. And mostly I just hear a joyful noise, but every once in a while I'll recognize an individual voice, like Dan asking one of the other musicians a question, somebody yelling out, shouting out, hello, good morning across the room, or Donna Sue's beautiful, infectious, unmistakable laugh. And then I just feel a wave of love for all the people who are our church, who show up on Sunday, at events, at classes, who volunteer their time, who donate, who connect with one another on a deep soul level. And so this morning, let's hold all of these dear ones in our hearts, and let's not think of them as board members, ministers, prayer chaplains, ushers, music team. Let's just see them as the individual people with all their human flaws and their divine magnificence, who make up the beautiful tapestry of oneness that is Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown. We see them all whole and strong in spirit, joyful and thriving, moving toward their highest good and the highest good for all of us. So now let's hold that vision in our minds and know it and feel it in our hearts for a few moments together. And now we close this time of prayer by singing together an ancient prayer, a prayer handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm in earth as it is in heaven, the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Well, the calendar tells us it's officially fall, but here in Central Texas, fall is more of a state of mind than a physical reality. And the only way you really know it's here is because the pumpkins appear on everybody's front porch. But even when the temperatures are climbing into the 90s during the day, there's just something about the angle of the light that changes, that tells us that the earth is beginning to move into its next great cycle. And some of the trees do lose their leaves, the birds abandon their summer nests and fly south, and the grass begins to go dormant. So nature is telling us this is a time to release the old and make space for what comes next. And this made me think of one of our favorite old sayings about release: let go and let God. And it's one of those phrases that really has a lot of truth in it, but it can get kind of old and stale when you've heard it 1,000 times over. So for our spiritual practice today, I thought we would do a refresh on that old saying, let go, let God, and take a look at what it really means for us and how it can help us on our spiritual path. So I think, first of all, we can all agree it does not mean expecting some super being out there to just take care of things for us. If we think of God not as a being, but as beingness, then the beingness is the nature of everything. And letting go is simply relaxing into the awareness that everything is God. And if everything is God, then there's no need to struggle against it. Do you know why people drown in still, calm water? It's because they fight against the water instead of allowing it to support them. And there's a technique called drown proofing, where you learn to just relax and allow the buoyancy of the water to float your body like a cork. And Navy SEALs even practice this with their wrists and ankles bound, and they still come up to the surface. So it's the same with the beingness that is the universe we live in. Its very nature is to support us and carry us toward itself, if we just quit thrashing around and trust it. So when we let go, we're releasing the thought that anything or anyone is against us. There is no us versus them. And when we let God, we allow the Godness that we are to guide us and show us all the creative possibilities that are available to us. And then we can use our strengths and abilities to swim with the current. And if we do happen to come across some rapids along the way, we can be calm and confident that the river will always carry us through. So I think the deeper meaning for us in this old saying is to let go of the ego-based fear and separation thinking and allow the God we are to express through us as love, as compassion, as oneness. When I first came to Unity Georgetown about 6.5 years ago, Alice Cooper shared a beautiful affirmation with me that I have repeated and used many times over the years. And I think it sums up this idea perfectly. I am sustained by an infinite power, guided by an infinite intelligence, and embraced by an infinite love. Let's affirm this together. I am sustained by an infinite power, guided by an infinite intelligence, and embraced by an infinite love. And when we believe that this is the truth about the universe we live in, we can relax into the flow of that infinite power, intelligence, and love, and know that all is well. So now as we prepare for meditation, you might want to imagine that you're floating, just effortlessly relaxed, feeling the way the water lifts you up and gently supports you. And then know that that feeling of peaceful non-resistance is your true home and divine nature. It's the experience of your highest self. So let's rest there for the next few moments in the silence. And Dan will bring us back with music.
If it's special, then with it, why aren't we as careful as making sure we dress in style, posing pictures with a smile, keeping danger from a child? It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe, fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So if it's magic, why can't we make it everlasting? Like the lifetime of the sun, it will leave no heart undone, for there's enough for everyone.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Therese. I want to be a part of this place. I'm hearing all these messages, and if I was hearing it for the first time, that would be my thought. I want to be part of this place. Last week, we began a journey through a closer look at the book, Integral Christianity, The Spirit's Call to Evolve. And I particularly like that subtitle because it is telling us something very important. And that is that the Spirit is always trying to evolve. That is its natural flow, to ever seek higher and higher consciousness, greater and greater expression, like a seed in search of its full potential. This is, in fact, the essence of the book. And last week, we talked about Reverend Smith's starting point, which he called a spiritual positioning system, somewhat like a GPS for ourselves. And this system helps us to generally identify where we are in our spiritual unfolding. Kind of like a map, tells us where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. This SPS is depicted in stages. And it is a model that shows, end quote, broad levels of evolutionary human development we see in history and in every person. Last week, I only briefly mentioned the stages, so I want to make a couple of comments about it, just so that we have a clearer picture. And then we'll move on to part 2, which is about states. So to review, these stages are tribal, warrior, traditional, modern, postmodern, and what he calls integral and beyond. Reverend Smith adds to this his own descriptions, which he calls fantasy, fighting, filling in, flourishing, fulfilling, and frontier. And each stage is like a lens through which we see the world. And each one has a particular awareness that corresponds to that level of spiritual unfolding. And there is a model called spiral dynamics that uses this, and it has colors associated with it. So I'm going to bring it up just real quickly so we get an idea of where it is that we are. I think it's a good idea because I think that we have a lot of different views in our heads, and this kind of stuff helps us just kind of put it all together, get a better understanding. So the first step is about being the tribal stage. And he says that there's 5 to 10% of the population at the very most, very fear-based, very superstitious, very, very primary, elementary level of development. The second is the warrior, and that's like 20% of the population. And from that mentality, you get all, we went through the Crusades, the Inquisition, the 9/11s, all that stuff. And it's a very apocalyptic system of fighting good and evil and things like that. And then we get into the traditional stage. And that's where 40 to 55% of the world's population is right now. And that includes all the major religions. and the belief is in a loving and vengeful God. And the theology of Jesus is replaced by the message of Paul. And it tells us, and in this system, heaven, and I've mentioned that, is a future-based reality. It's for the future. Whereas for us, it's right here and now. So if you look at just these 3 stages, you're looking at 65 to 80% of the entire world's population. If you were looking at this from a cosmic perspective, it would say a lot about the consciousness of the planet, of us being still in a fairly early stage of development as a planet. And if you look at our history, and even our current world events, that certainly supports that idea. I keep coming back to that remark of Eric Butterworth when he says, we're still baby divinities, seedlings, And that brings us to the modern stage. And that's 15 to 30% of the world's population now. And the modern stage only began 500 to 600 years ago, fairly recently. And it was brought about by the Renaissance, the Reformation, and it flowered about 200 to 300 years ago, even closer, just recently, in the Enlightenment, the scientific and industrial revolution. Now, the upside of this development, that we had a lot of new medical and scientific discoveries. The downside was that this all created a lot of materialism, a lot of greed, reduced values, and it turned spirituality into scientific physicalism, where the universe became a machine. And there was a more reason-based approach, look at the Bible during this period. And I don't have to go any further than our founding fathers, which you may or may not know, a lot of them were deists. And they were very much into the reason thing, not so much about the faith. They believed in God, but they believed in a God of reason. They were called deists. So the modern church was born at a time of liberal social justice movement, the transcendentalist, and it says the book, the New Thought movement, including unity, was born in the modern stage. And there was a lot of growth of atheism as well, because it was getting away from the spirituality of things. And in this period, a new word came up, panentheism. We've talked about it before. Panentheism, because before it was God was out there, then Jesus said, no, God is in here. Then we asked the question, where is God? Is God out there or is God is in here? And the answer is yes. God is both out there and in here. And that's what panentheism says. God is in everything and everything is in God. Then we get into the postmodern stage. That's only probably 5% of the population. And this is 150 years ago. Mankind has been here for hundreds of thousands of years. And this is 150 years ago. The flower is starting to bloom. It's starting to open up. You can imagine that picture, right? The consciousness of the planet. And it says it became most notable in the 60s. Yahoo hippies. You know? And it says it was a reaction to the objection of objective science to explain all of reality. And in this postmodern, we took on a whole new other way of looking at things. We came up with this idea that we construct our truth, that everything is relative. And we moved to this place, as we said during the introduction, that we move beyond tolerance of other religions into a place of embracing and honoring other religious traditions. And in this view, there is no objective world or vision out there. It's all subjective. And we say things like, I have no limits. We sing that song sometimes. I am free, I am unlimited. And in this is the big one. We believe that we create our own reality and that no one is left out. Universal salvation. What a strange idea. And he brings up Reverend Marcus Borg as an outstanding model of postmodern theology. And I brought one of his books that I shared with you about 2 years ago called Meeting Jesus for the First Time. And then there's another one he wrote. He said, Reading the Bible Again for the First Time. From new eyes, from a different level of consciousness. And so Reverend Borg says something very similar that Therese just said. He says, God is not a supernatural being separate from the universe. Rather, God, sacred spirit, is a non-material layer or level or dimension of reality all around us, in us. It is just this essence, beingness, which she said. And I've said that before. That's Meister Eckhart. He said, God is not a being, God is beingness. And if you understand that, you're in the postmodern stage of your development, basically. And here's a big one. Science from the modern age told us believing is seeing. And the postmodern stage is telling us, no, sorry. The modern stage says seeing is believing. And the postmodern is telling us believing is seeing. And you remember who wrote that book? Wayne Dyer, right? You'll see it when you believe it. Why? Because what we teach, that the world works from the inside out. Source, if cause is consciousness, the mind, idea. The world that we see is the effect of that. And the Bible says it in the beginning was the Word. Same kind of idea. Anyway, so the book tells us that in general, we and groups, such as this one, fall into certain a range of focal point. Where is the focal point of Unity Georgetown? Where are we in this developmental series? Now, we still have elements of tribalness. We did some today. That element of being, getting into it and expressing yourself, that's that tribalness in us that we still value, and it works for us. But we see it from a different way. So in the modern stage, we were fitting in, and now we're beginning to flourish and even start to get elements of fulfilling. And there's some even here that are at that frontier period, that place that we're starting to change the way how we see things. And here's the key to all this. The book tells us we can only know what our world view allows us to know. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's all just where we are. So the part 2 of the book then turns its attention to states, from stages to states. And Reverend Vince Smith says this about states, that they are modes of consciousness, such as wakefulness, sleep, dreaming, deep meditation, artistic flow, things like that. And he talks about, this section, we're going to talk about the consciousness associated with that spiritual experience that comes from these states of being. And the key to this whole thing now is about experiences. It's no longer talking about things. It's about being those things. And he calls this section, there's 4 chapters. The spirit zone, Jesus in the spirit zone, the early church in the spirit zone, and the spirit zone today. He says the spirit zone goes by a lot of different names. But it is about getting into a zone, a vibration. And that's what we've been trying to emphasize lately. And from here, he talks, interestingly, he moves into the story of Martha and Mary, which is interesting because I just did that in the last month, that story. And I've never done that story ever. I've never talked about it. And I read this book 10 years ago or something, and I don't remember it being in there. And now here it is, coincidentally. So what do we remember about the story of Martha and Mary? It was just a month ago. He says this: here are the 3 major states of consciousness all in one setting, in this one story. First, we have Martha, who is going about her daily work in an ordinary, everyday awareness, deeply entrenched in her humanness. She's whining, she's complaining, she's playing the victim, like a lot of us do, and we do. Mary, on the other hand, is enchanted with Jesus, completely focused on him. She has turned her attention to a spiritual awakening that she is starting to have. She's connected with Jesus in an intense way because she is starting to connect with her spiritual reality. And she sees this in Jesus. And then there's Jesus. Now, Jesus, he talks, acts, moves, walks, everything, purely divine essence. He is being that divine essence. And he has a little diagram. It says the Martha mind, ordinary, mundane reality. The Mary mind, seeking to connect. And the Jesus mind, being the divinity. So what does all this talk about, spiritual or spirit zone, say to you? What kind of a feeling do you get about it? Have you ever been in a spirit zone? I think we all have. I think we all have. But we just don't spend much time there. And that's what we try to together on Sundays, to help us spend more time there. Because the more time you spend there, the more you realize that you need to be in that space more. And so we take it over into our daily lives, and that's what it's all about connecting with that deeper inner self that you have. So Jesus was the great example of this, how he could be in this zone, about getting out of the way. And then he brings up the early church in the spirit zone. And I found that interesting because he says that there's a lot of reference to being in that. getting in trances, speaking in tongues, all this stuff that was part of the early movement, that fervor that they had about what they had, that Jesus had come to tell them, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And they felt that. And it makes me wonder, it's like, well, does this not exist anymore? Or why do we not do this? And maybe it's because he says that now our spirituality has developed to where we see that as kind of odd and kind of woo-woo and stuff, and it's not at all. And the whole idea is that we're supposed to try to get back into this. What did we sing this morning? I feel the Spirit moving in me. And did you? Because you should. So the final chapter is about Spirit Zone today. Where is the Spirit Zone today? And he makes an interesting comment. You know, I've talked about 80-year decline in Christianity, but there's one denomination that is growing. And you know which one it is? The Pentecostals. Why? Because they are on fire. They're in the Spirit Zone big time. And I shared before, and I'm going to tell you again. I shared it with the LGM group on Wednesday. When I was doing glass etching and stuff, there was a guy, he was a Hispanic pastor. And he used to come over and buy stuff from me. And one day he found out that I was, studying to become a minister. And he tells me, you should come to our church one of these days. And I said, you know what, I'll go. And it was a Wednesday night. I have Wednesday night. And it was a Pentecostal church. And I walked in there, and boy, they were on. I mean, the place, I don't think there was a floor. The place was elevated with the energy that they had. But then they sat down, and the minister started to talk. And I said, I'm done. I'm done with the message. I love the energy, but I can't handle the message. And then I went to Unity, and I found exactly the opposite. I loved the message, but they were using music that I thought I was in the 1800s in a Baptist church in Alabama or something. And me, I was just saying, like, how can I put these two things together? How can I put that fire, that energy together with the beautiful message that is unity? And that's what I've tried to do here. And I think we've made some progress. And these people here have been... and these guys here have been a big part of it. Because they help raise... It's literally raising your consciousness, yeah. And it really is. Because we say it all the time. To raise the vibration. And we're literally, I mean, again, this is not woo-woo. This is science stuff if you want it to be. It's raising yourself to a higher vibrational level. That's what it's all about. And that's what the Spirit Zone is about when we do this. So that's what we're going to keep working on when we come together here on Sundays. Because I know it helps me. And I've talked to you before, and I told my wife, I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to me. I need the help too. So I'm going to leave you with one other Spirit Zone example that comes from Scripture that I really like. And that is Peter walked on the water. Do you remember that? Peter walked on the water when they were having a storm and stuff. And Jesus, come on. And he said, I can't do that. Come on. And he walked. But he only took a few steps. And then he sank. Why? Because doubt set in. And we were talking about that. Why can't we walk on water? Why can't we levitate? Because theoretically, we should be able to do it, I think. If we really believe that he who is within is greater than he who is in the world, that whatever it is essence that I have, that I'm made of this whole universe, has the power to move mountains, Jesus said. So if that's true, then the reason I don't do it is because I don't believe it enough. There's no other reason. That's what we've got to work on. So Peter walking on the water was the example of Jesus saying to us that we can do the works that he did. And greater works, he said. that you can do. So it's not about the difference in Jesus and us. It's not a difference in potential. It is a difference of conviction. And that is what being in the Spirit zone is about.
I was inspired to sing this song by Dan because from time to time he'll sing a portion of this song coming out of the prayer, and I just kind of wanted to fill in the inspiration of that. So this song is called Here's to Life. No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. For I have learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you've got. I've had my share, drank my fill, and even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road beyond the hill and do it all again. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Funny how the time just flies, how love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes that leave you with the memories you've memorized to keep your winters warm. For there's no yes in yesterday. Who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away? As long as I'm still in the game, I want to play for laughs, for life, for love. So here's to life, and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and may all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, here's to you. May all your storms be weathered, and may all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love.
Welcome to the Spirit Zone. That's what I'm talking about. So now it comes a time when we offer our tithes and our gifts to the spiritual community so that we can continue to bless this world with what comes out of Sunday services every Sunday, because we're sending all this energy out into the world, and it is making a difference. It just is, and I didn't realize it before. Pond Scum reminded me of that. And you have to know, I guess, about the story of that one, Brandon. So we take our tithes in our hands, and we say, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified and kind, God. I'll give it back to you.
Join me in our offering dedication. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. We bless the children of the world, and we bless the entire world today, especially in the wake of all the new events that are taking place. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Final announcements. No LGM this week. I'll be in Dallas. Prayer chaplain is Therese. Is she up there? Oh, there she is. Also, let me see. I'm going to work on this movie thing so we can have a fun movie afternoon. It'll be great. What else do we got? Any other reminders? Anything else? I think that's pretty much done. So let's rise and finish with our peace song. And like you mean it. Like you mean it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I am light. I am love. power, I am presence, I am. Have a blessed, blessed week, and thank you.
Thank you.